All right, hello everyone. Welcome back, or maybe for the first time, to Patrick in the studio. And I'm Patrick. And what I'm going to do today is, I think, of one additional or final lesson on perspective. In my first three lessons on 1, 2, and 3 point perspective, I used a simple cardboard box, a small cardboard box with 6 sides, and all the corners have right angles, right? So that becomes pretty simple. But what happens if you encounter something that's not six-sided and all the corners are right angles, like, for example, this pyramid? How do you draw something like that in perspective? So this is, again, still a simple object, but this lesson does pertain to almost anything you might encounter, with a few possible additional steps. So what I'm going to do is draw that pyramid in 1 point perspective. So I'm going to start with my horizon line. All right, there we go. Again, this is the sky, this is the earth. This is also your eye level in your painting or drawing. Then I'm going to put a vanishing point, and again, my vanishing point and my horizon line at this point are pretty arbitrary, but depending on how I want you to see the object, I might place it higher if I want you looking down at stuff, lower if I want you looking up at stuff, put my vanishing point on the left if I want you to be looking from that direction towards the object. Same with the right, I could put it here, and then you're looking at stuff like that, looking at its right side. But in this instance, we're going to kind of not worry about any of those things. So what I'm going to do is, here, what do you do when you have something that's not, like I say, like a little cardboard box, like in my other lessons? Well, what you want to do is convert this shape into a rectangle. So let's say I measured it, and it measured 3 inches wide and 6 inches in height. What I could do then is draw a rectangle here that's 3 inches wide and 6 inches in height. Let's assume I measured all this, which of course you kind of get the idea. So this represents the height and the width of my pyramid. Now that pyramid is what is called an equilateral pyramid. In other words, it comes up equally on each side to the middle, which again makes our little lesson a little easier. And then what I'm going to do is place a vanishing point somewhere, and again I'm just putting it there to make it easy. Draw my converging lines, and I'm going to turn my flat rectangular shape into a rectangular box. All right, again, if I want to draw a straight line, I don't look here or I don't look here, I look there. Now I'm going to put a line here that will describe the depth of that box, and I might even put a fourth line in here, though probably not absolutely necessary, just to give myself a sense of if I want to make that place it in the right place in terms of putting it as far back to help describe that object. I'll put it there, and now I'll draw up like this, and then across, and then connect these 4 lines together. So now I have a box based on the dimensions of my pyramid. And then all I have to do is place the pyramid inside it. Now because the pyramid is a square, essentially looking at it from the bottom, it fits neatly into the bottom of my rectangular box. But I know that the pyramid comes up equally toward the middle, and it touches the top of my box here. The question is where? And the way to figure that out is by drawing an X. So X marks the spot. In other words, if I draw from this corner to that corner, and then from this corner to that corner, where these 2 lines come together, is where my pyramid touches the top of the box. And then I would draw down to each corner, like so. And there is my pyramid in 1 point perspective. And this would also apply to 2 point. If you're doing 2 point, it's the same process, except you have 2 vanishing points. And the same with 3 point. Okay? So let's just make this a little more visible. We'll see how we have a few minutes. I'll erase these lines we wouldn't see because this is a solid object. Now my next lesson is going to be, I think, in drawing something made of glass. Everything is made out of something. How do you draw an object? Same here. If I want to put my shadow in there, I'm going to put a little mark here. Actually, to determine where the middle of that is, I'll draw an X. Draw a line through the middle of it. There's my shadow for my pyramid. And then fill that in. And let's erase all this stuff so we can see things a little more clearly. This is working with Vine charcoal, of course. I love Vine charcoal because it's easy to work with. You can see I can smear it in there and smudge it and erase it easily enough. Alright, and there's our that light coming from here. We'll put a little value here to imply there's a little less light on that plane of our pyramid. And it makes the pyramid look solid. It makes the drawing look a little nicer. Alright, there we go. There's our pyramid in one-point perspective. Alright, thank you.